Hey everybody! Tonight we have a special guest. One we Chris is friends with before, and he really mentioned to me he'd love to get her on the show, and so we have Janine Stella with us from Skulls and Stilettos. Anybody that's in the MMA community knows who she is. Knows her and her husband. They they are big with interviews. She has her own podcast, Skulls and Stilettos show, and they do the show on. This is something I probably should have asked prior, but I want to say it's just on a lot of times like Facebook. I think it's on YouTube as well, but this might be something. But we're also going to talk about it. She has broke some amazing news as well. She has been brought on as a senior producer for a brand new show that's going to be coming out in January on Fox Business. Here's to Your Health with Dr. Drew. So that is a tremendous, news for her. I mean, that is an amazing thing to have happen. I mean, that's career altering. That is pretty cool. And so we're going to talk to Janine Stella about that. Skulls and Stilettos is next. Welcome to the Three Beards podcast. My name's Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is quite impossible.
Then live to send the innocent to their death? Is this justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
All right, we are back, and I am wearing. If I can do the right side here, this side here. I'm wearing. He's got our Three Beards shirt on. I have got friends of the show, Paramera. They gave us some T-shirts, and so I'm wearing that. Thanks to them, Craig and Courtney from Paramera. So thank you for that. So I'm showing them a little love there. And then at this hour for this show, we have a special one. I have embraced the MMA side again.
Yeah.
And what better way to do that than by bringing on Skulls and Stilettos, Janine Stella, onto the program. How are you tonight?
Hi, guys. I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're
Very
welcome. Yeah, it's what are those things? Chris, he talked to me. He's like, I know. I go, what would you do? I'm like, all right. As a nod, just for everybody, it's like I'm willing to do this one, not just because I feel like I have to. It's because I think this is going to be a real fun conversation with her. It's Debbie, our number one MMA fan, is going to absolutely love it.
Love you, Debbie. You're the best. Justin, you're the best.
Yes.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Old school, Craig. What's your favorite ice cream?
I know. We can get that's for Debbie. What's your favorite ice cream?
Oh, is that to me?
Yeah.
What's my favorite ice cream? I really like nocciola, which is Italian gelato for hazelnut. I like nocciola. It's good.
Here's a nerdy thing. Those are actually called filberts.
Filberts? What,
filberts?
Gelatos?
Well, no, but who's going to want to buy a handful of chocolate covered filberts? So the name, the hazelnut. That's why I said that's what it is. It's actually
interesting.
That's the nerd thing for you. So there, that's everybody's useless fact for the night that you didn't really know that you wanted to know.
I didn't really want to know either.
Silver. You learn something new every day.
We We got all our
I just call him nuts.
Hey, there you go. That's all you need.
It's a little awkward, It's like you have to be careful when you're just, in company where it's like, oh God, I'd love to eat nuts. I mean, it's just you have to be really careful.
I
You
have
to be
no inhibitions about saying I
Salted
want to eat
nuts.
some nuts.
Yeah, you gotta be a little careful. Yes, so one of the questions I had too, we're just like, fire them away. It's just, so what brought about the skulls and stilettos? I mean, because it's very distinctive, the sugar skulls and the stiletto. I mean,
Yes. Okay. So I had a radio show, which I originally got introduced with. I had a co-host, and it was everything about South Florida. And we broke our partnership, and I wanted to create something that was totally me. So I love sugar skulls. I'm obsessed with Day of the Dead in the Mexican community because I feel like we should be celebrating everyone that's died, not just necessarily veterans or whatnot, which I love my veterans, but I think we should celebrate everybody. Yeah, I know. I saw your skulls up there, and I'm like, I have actually, I'm going to have MacGyver grab my skull so I can show you.
I was just as you're talking, it's like I've got a sugar skull right there.
Yeah, I want. It's on the bookshelf. Okay, it's on the bookshelf. Okay, so I ordered a bedazzler kit. You know those things those little girls buy and they like bedazzle.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I bedazzled a skull. It took me like 3 days. Thank you. So this is my bedazzled skull.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I love skulls, and I've created something. It's skulls and stilettos, and it's really from head to toe. I like to get to know people, and I don't just like to get to know them superficially, but overall from head to toe, I want to know what makes them tick. And looking at this, I'm glad I have a prop to explain this. You can't tell if the skull was black, white, Asian, heterosexual, transgender. You can't tell what this is. We're all human. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So I like to stellify you, wrong way. I like to stellify you from head to toe, meaning I want to get to know you from head to toe, from all walks of life. Whether you're a bum on the street or you're a CEO, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, we're all the same.
No, go ahead, Chris.
So that answered one of my questions without even asking it. That's why you're still so intrigued in the MMA podcast as the world. You get to know fighters as their personal self, their backstory, what did they do in the streets versus how did you train? Well, what did you do? And I never got that far and deep. I just listened to your brief of your interview because I'm always on the move when I see you. But that explains one of my questions.
If you go to YouTube and you go to my YouTube channel, I had a really candid interview with Asim from Goat Shed, the owner of Goat Shed. And I went to Goat Shed, I went to Wynwood, and him and I had it was raw and candid for an hour. Him and I talked about his childhood, how he got involved in all of this, what makes him tick. I think at one point he started to cry. I mean, that's kind of what I'm all about. It's not superficial. It's all about emotion. So can you put skulls in the Easy Bake Oven? Hell yeah, Mark. Totally down with that. Absolutely. So yeah, I get to know people. I just had David Packhouse on last week from War Dogs. That was, if you've seen the movie War Dogs, that David Packhouse is who the movie was basically written for. It was the story of his life. And a lot of people, when they interview him, and I interviewed him last year, but a lot of people, when they talk to him, they're like, oh, tell me about gun running and tell me about, driving through the Iraqi desert and selling guns and ammo to the U.S. government. And he's moved on from that. And so last week, if you watch my show, it's all about what he's doing now. Like, yes, was he a young guy arrested and on house arrest, arrested by the FBI? Yes. But he's the same age as me. And look at what he's doing now. He has 2 companies. He's an inventor. He's an entrepreneur. And I think it's you move on from certain things. You're not the person that you were, 10 years ago. So that's what I'm all about, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. And that's it. Kind of as you were saying that, I think that's really where the focus, like for me, because anybody can do a show on Bigfoot. Anybody can do a show on, when we were doing MMA. Anybody can have, Jessica Borga, have, these fighters on there and ask them the same questions. Do you like to stand up and fight? Do you like to punch? Do you like to get on the ground? You do all these things. But for us, and the part that, there was I think for myself that was hard is because I didn't really know the background. I wasn't somebody like yourself that actually has that to make it easier, those questions. I had trouble getting those behind the scenes type questions out of people.
I'm a female, and in all honesty, it does have an advantage because men that are fighters, it's easier for them, I believe, to open up to a female to ask them those kind of questions that I can get away with per se than a dude asking. Just like you guys could get away with asking me questions that women would probably not get away with. Like it's that weird dichotomy, and it just kind of works, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
She has that magic touch. She could talk to the guy who's just been beat up and he's mad with everybody, and he walks to the back and she's like, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" He's like, "Oh yeah, what do you want?" And I'm like,
"Hey, you won. You having sex tonight? What are you eating? Like, I want to know what you're doing afterwards. Like, I don't care about your next freaking fight. Yes. I want to know, like, what are you going to do to celebrate? Are you going to have, like, you're going to go to IHOP and, like, binge on food now that you've been starving for 2 weeks? Like, come on."
She's not lying. That's the question she asked.
Oh no, that's what I see. And that was what I like, because for me, that makes it so much more of a compelling story, to listen to those things. Because like I said, you can listen to anybody all day long and you're going to get the same thing. I like Muay Thai. I trained here. I trained Top Gym. You get all these things. And after a while, to stand out, you need to have something that I can't look up every other show and see the same exact interview over and over again. Mm-hmm. And that's, for me, before we stopped doing the shows, it was really starting to become tedious and boring to the fact of that I couldn't grasp, because one is, like you said, I didn't have the desire, or the ability to just comfortably go, "So you just got done the thing. So how'd you celebrate? Did you go get some?" I couldn't ask those kind of questions, and it'd feel like I was comfortable.
Be punched, and I would be like, "Hey, what are you doing after?" Like, it's just a totally different thing. It's so weird. It's really messed up. It's totally sexist. I'm going to sip out of my straw because I don't want to mess up my fabulous.
Oh no, you're good. No, I appreciate that.
Like Craig, Debbie. Yeah, Craig's the dad. It's like, hey, it's like, no, man, that's not how it works.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things. It's like the whole time I'm like thinking, okay, how do I frame this? I'm trying to do somewhat of a serious, some of like interviews, and when you get those, it was hard. And then, but as we do some of these other subjects, I was finding it was a lot easier to get to those just random off the wall ones, where to me it's just that I get so much more out of that, and like the interaction we had with, and I really like the shows that we did with Justin and his wife. Having ones with you, having ones with Rodolfo, Roman, having when we had Blake Chadwick on, when we had
Justin.
Yeah.
It's more personal. That's how we got. That's why I asked you about the ice cream. That was Craig's signature question to break the ice. What's your favorite ice cream? Because it was different. Well, every person I trained like this.
That makes sense. And speaking of flavors, Justin always chimes in on my podcast that he wants his wife to sleep with my husband, and like it's an ongoing funny joke. And like he's like, "When is my wife gonna sleep with MacGyver?" And I'm like, "When does MacGyver wanna?" It's so screwed up, but it's so fun. Yeah. I mean, it's all in the family.
Yeah. When's MacGyver gonna quit doing, beating around the just get straight out and answer?
Right, totally.
It's all in the family.
No, he chimes in with some good stuff. But yeah, that's one of those things, and that's why I really liked getting those people on the show, because it's like, you show me another MMA show that has interviewed the cameraman, that has interviewed the ring announcer, that that was their focus. It wasn't just hey, bring everybody on. And that's why I really like those shows, because it was different. You got a perspective. I mean, honestly, it's like I can't find another show, and maybe I'm wrong, but I can't find another show that is focused. Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, that's the stuff he does. But that's like I said. I mean, find me another show that focused on the cameraman for Titan. But that was the show's focus. Was who was there. Yeah.
It's fun. Everyone's got a story to tell, right? It's like from what perspective, because you're absolutely right. And listen, you know what? At the end of the day, when they've won and they're sweaty and they're bloody and the adrenaline's going and they've got their entourage and their coach behind them and they're walking back and they're going to the locker room to get changed and whatnot, I might only have like a minute with them, right? And I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to talk to me either. I mean, I try to dress as slutty as possible so that I'm a little bit more enticing. But for the most part, I mean, they don't want to talk to me. They want to like go celebrate and eat and So I just try to get them like real quick.
Yeah,
I can't. I'm going back to Justin. He wants MacGyver to bang his wife, and I picture Justin just filming it like this is my job.
Oh yeah. They have no idea that we're like pimping them out to each other. Like they have no
I'm about to say
I can just see he's not even focusing on what's happening. He's just going like this. It's like, okay, I got to pan out. I got to get this shot. And he just going around all about camera angles the whole time. It's like, do you realize what's going on? Yeah, I got an amazing footage.
Like I saw Justin the other night and I was like, hey, and I said to Justin's wife, hey, when are you going to bang MacGyver? And she looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I'm like, oh wait, you are not in on this joke. You are not in on this joke. I'm like, I feel like an idiot.
I mean, I don't know how you gave him the name MacGyver, but I literally see MacGyver in action.
Okay.
You had a cup of coffee with a half gallon of milk where nowhere. How did you find a half gallon of milk? I see you with a cup of coffee and a half gallon.
So Alex, Gus's father, we wanted coffee because it was freezing back there, and I was wearing next to nothing, and we were like, we need coffee. So he's like, here, and he like brings coffee, and then I'm like, God, I wish I had cream, and he like brought the hat and half out from the back. Remember MacGyver, the show MacGyver from the 80s?
Yep. That was my show. He can make anything happen with a Swiss Army knife.
So MacGyver, Roy, a.k.a. Roy, can do anything. Like, if your car's broken, he can fix it. If your bed's broken, he can fix it. If your
Justin's wife needs to be banged, he can bang his wife.
I mean, he is like the jack of all trades. So he got the nickname MacGyver, and now it's just kind of stuck.
It is stuck, yes. Yeah, I was thinking the whole time, you know what, really we never interviewed Israel. And I was just thinking, it's like, how critical, here we have the person that's actually building the infrastructure. I'm like, I was just thinking, it's like, why didn't we ever reach out and try to interview him? I'm like, maybe we might just have to, so that way.
You should. Wait, after he bangs my wife, him and I are, that is true, actually. They are filming Justin and MacGyver are filming, that's another project that's going on, a reality show pilot, which is very interesting. I don't think we're allowed to talk about yet, but they're going to start filming that, which is going to be cool. Yeah, and then, of course, you saw on my post, so Dr. Drew's new show is going to air on Fox Business in January. Mm-hmm. It's a project that I've really been working on for like 4 or 5 months, but I haven't been able to say anything about it because we're not on the air yet, and we're still doing everything preliminary. Like, I'm still getting guests for the show. I'm still mapping everything out. I'm calling companies every day. And then Dr. Drew is going to announce it on, he's got a book coming out. So in September, so he's going to have this huge thing and huge announcement, and then he's going to like let the cat out of the bag. So I kind of did a little prematurely, but it's fun, and we're working on some really awesome guests for the first show. Very well-known celebrities are going to be on, and it's going to be really good content. So I'm excited about it.
That's going to be awesome.
Where's Titan 72 going to be held?
Miami. The greater city of Miami.
I think still, good question. I think it's still, Justin, right? It's still at the Intercontinental. I don't think they're doing Dominican Republic anymore because of what happened the last time with the UFC Fight Pass, and the quality of like the filming got really kind of like jacked up. So they were like, I don't know if we're going back there.
You were there that night that things got really crazy. I think it was, I can't remember what number Titan it was, where they were yelling F him up. And it was like the fans were like nuts that night. And I'm like, oh my God, it was the last one before I seen you at. It was the one before that one. Yes, that one was like
Titan
nuts.
70?
I think so. That one was nuts. Everybody
No,
had
Titan
on
69. No, 69 was in the DR. The one before that then, right?
Yeah, everybody had on ski mask. That was a part of the guy's fan entourage. It was crazy.
That's right.
That one was a crazy
nuts.
show. That was a
That was nuts. It not as well. I love Titan. And then did you watch the last bare knuckle fight?
Yep.
That was a little insane. Like you got Blueface and gloves on. You got, I mean, it was out of control. You got a fan fighting Blueface or attacking him it was out of control.
That was nuts.
It was nuts.
Yeah, I'm still a little, disappointed that Jeff stood us up.
Oh, Jeff,
Jeff Aronson.
Was he?
We had him scheduled and he no-showed on us.
I've been trying to get his wife on not actively. Like I've been giving him hints.
That's perfect 10, isn't it? Isn't that her?
Yeah, it's a 10.
It's a 10.
Is in every woman's bathroom and hair care line in America. I mean, it's fantastic product. It's a keratin treatment, leave-in treatment. But now she's come out with a new makeup line, so she'd be a great guest for sure.
Yeah, we tried, and so it was just one of those. So maybe we'll keep your fingers crossed for you, because that'd be a cool one to score. And that's
for sure.
I mean, I know they just had a brand new baby,
Mm-hmm.
so that's obviously she's a little preoccupied.
She is
between running a company and Justin was like, get Lex on. I mean, have you reached
get Lex on.
We had him on our show. Yeah, we had him on
last year.
Yeah, it was last. It was a while ago, but yeah, we had him on for the show, and then that was a good conversation. It was one. I mean, we've had some really interesting ones. I mean, his name's failing me right now. Rivera. Erwin Rivera. We had him on the show.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's just so how surprised were we when the fourth taco.
Last taco.
Recipes the fourth taco. So all of a sudden, just to see that, and we're you see the news and you're like, oh my God, we talked. We actually interviewed that guy, and I'm like, this is crazy.
Isn't it great when you get someone on your show and you're just like, this is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, really neat, really neat.
It's one of those infamous things. You'll have some documentary of, where things went south in somebody's life, and now they're, potentially in prison and stuff. You're looking back, and it's just, you could potentially see footage from, our podcast, being played on some documentary type thing. It'd just be like, man, we talked to that guy. That's crazy.
So cool.
The craziest guest that we had was like Colt Brennan, and then his numbers shot through the roof.
When he died.
Wow.
When he passed away, but it was crazy. We had a good interview with him.
What was your favorite interview that you've had? I mean, I know.
That's a really good question. I don't even know if I can honestly answer that question right now, because there's been so many interesting people that I've had on. I think everyone is so unique and different. I would say Asim from Goat Shed was a really interesting interview, because right now he's looked at in the MMA world as having, the gym of gyms, and everyone wants to know what's going on with what he's doing at Goat Shed that like other MMA gyms like ATT and other gyms are not doing. So, and he's got a camera crew following him 24/7, filming a documentary on him. So there's a whole culture that is going to come out that I think it was candid to have that one-on-one with him.
Yeah, that's what I like. I'm glad you could do that, because that's the thing I like, is just when you can get these, because like the show we just had on. I mean, everybody's got the presser thing. You know, everybody can ask the same questions, but there's just something cool about like what you just said there, where you're able to phrase it into do something just in such a certain way that you're able to tease out some information that somebody has never said before, has never talked about, and all of a sudden, I don't know how, you know, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth. You know, what does that feel like to you? Because I mean, I absolutely, it's kind of like you get that, you know, tingling sensation, like, oh my God, this is fantastic. You know, I did my job. I actually got something for somebody to listen to that they've never heard before.
I wouldn't look at it like that per se. I just want answers to questions that I don't think other people care to know. But for me, I want to know because I'm nosy. Like, and I think it's just my inquisition to ask certain things that I'm curious about, that maybe other people would be afraid to ask or maybe feel like it's crossing the line. But I usually ask guests, is there anything that I can't ask you? Or is there anything that would, because I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But at the same time, if you're not uncomfortable, then you don't grow. So I feel that you've got to get comfortable at some point talking about things that you don't want to ask. If you want to be interviewed constantly and you want to be in that light, you've got to answer hard questions.
I started getting laid tonight. You know, it's kind of a pretty awkward question. You know, just start off like right after a fight. That's one of those where, I mean, that's one hell of an icebreaker. Like, wait,
I've
what?
had several propositions from fighters. It's been quite flattering.
Wow.
Quite flattering, actually. I'm like, my husband is like right there.
Yeah. You gonna come back to the hotel?
Actually, technically, ex-husband. We were together for like 10 years, and then we divorced, and now we are living together. What's up, Orlando? That's my boss. That's my executive producer for the show. So, hey, Orlando.
Awesome.
Thank you for tuning in, Orlando.
Yes.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So yeah, everyone's like, God, you live with your ex-husband? Like, what's going on there? And I'm like, we get along way better now. Trust me. Like,
so that, you know, that I want to ask you that too. You know, that you read it. Why do you think that is? Because I've always said that. You know, when people are like, when I'm married, man, we fought, but as soon as we stopped, you know, we're back there. And I've always asked, it's like, what is it about the piece of paper that was signed that made such a difference? Yeah.
It's the pressure of, okay, we had a normal life for 7-8 years and everything was perfect. And then you make a vow to all this family and friends that it's just awkward in itself that you're standing up there making a saying vow. I mean, it's no one's business but the person that you're with. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, I think everything is too much of a spectacle. And I think at the end of the day, it's really about you and that other person. So what happens when you get married? You know, oh, we have to merge our insurance. Oh, we got to put this person on the house. Oh, now we've got to do this together. Oh, wait, my credit is screwed because your credit's screwed. Oh, wait, this is going to happen now. Thanks a lot, asshole. It's like one thing after another. And at the end of the day, you're like, why the hell did we do this? And then you start fighting, and then finances get in the way. And then, oh, you're a bad husband. Oh, you're a bad wife. Oh, you're this or that. Well, I don't want to be anyone's wife anymore. I just want to be me. Like,
that's
at the end of the day,
that's a great answer.
You know, it's like at the end of the day, I don't want to have the pressure of living up to anyone's expectations, but my own, because I bet mine are far harder on myself than what others could have on me anyway. So it just didn't work for me. Let's put it that way.
That's a great answer. I mean, that's. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those. It's just for me. It's kind of. I mean, for me, it's completely different. I mean, we've been together for 25 years.
God bless. That's great.
You know, so dated for 4. You know, married for 21, 22 in September. You know, so it's like, so when you see these things, I'm like, I don't feel any different. I mean, so when you see people like, oh my God, as soon as we got divorced, man, everything was just like the heavens opened up. We're all happy. And I'm like, I'm just curious, what was it about? Just is it that piece of paper that feels like it's an anchor around some people's neck?
It feels like suffocation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's really bizarre. So that's pretty crazy. And then so what episode are you on now for your show? Oh gosh,
You know?
I have 2 now. So I've really been doing Skulls and Stilettos like once a month, but now I'm gonna up that. Like next week I have 2 back-to-back shows. So I think I'm up to like 3 or 4. Miles and Jessica are watching. Hi. The other podcast that I have, the Alphabet Soup Experience, I do twice a week with my co-host Matt Posner, and we know more about Jess and MacGyver. Oh my God. Someone found out. That's not good. So on that show, I don't know if you've checked it out. We talk about the ABCs. We pick a topic and then we go, we take the topic and then we go through the ABCs. So Monday night, the show was about destinations we want to visit post-pandemic. So we started with the letter A. So you want to go to Aruba, Australia, nice. I don't know, and then you go through, oh, and there's my dog. I totally apologize.
No, that's
Roma Stella.
That's an awesome name.
That's her name. Well, we had our honeymoon in Rome, Italy. And so I named her like Roma, like everyone thinks it's a really bad name. And she's kind of like a lesbian anyway. Like my dog is a total lesbian. She literally she lifts her leg to pee and she humps she's been fixed and she humps my other female dog and she humps my cat who's like 10 pounds heavier than her. I don't get it. All I know is that I am a proud lesbian mom and I identify I embrace her. I take her to Pride Fest in her pink stroller. Like, we're good.
I was going to say, you've got to have a rainbow vest or something like that for,
oh my
for the
God,
dog.
Totally. I have she's my pride and joy, literally.
That's awesome. It's, yeah. Oh God. Oh, I don't even know how I can top that.
I can't even.
How do you top it? Good night, everybody.
It's the weirdest thing. It's like everyone looks at her and they're like, she's the male, right? And I was like, actually, no, she's just very butch.
Yeah.
A butch dog.
Like, would you go up to a person and be like, you look like a man? If it was a butch lesbian, no, you wouldn't say that to a woman. Oh, you look like a man. Well, maybe that was the point. Maybe my dog identifies as a him.
I made that mistake. I was working at Home Depot. I was in the paint department, and I walked up, and here's this person, short gray hair. The back's to me, so I see short gray hair, flannel shirt, jeans, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, can I help you? This lady turns around and she gave me the death stare. She's great. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm back. You've got shorter hair than me. That's great. You're wearing a flannel shirt and you're wearing jeans. How am I supposed to know?
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Good for you. What'd you say?
I was like, because I kept apologizing. I'm sorry. I'm like, how was I supposed to know? I go, from the back, you look like a guy. So it just, so when I'm like, excuse me, like, may I help you, sir? And so after that, I learned you got to be really careful.
Craig, please come to the office.
Yeah.
Well,
you did it here
aisle
too.
12, paint
department. I was in what was worse. I was in management. I was a department head.
Just with your manager? Yeah, 1 second. Hey, how you doing?
So what do you do? Like, can they honestly think that they would that someone from behind would think they're a female? Like, shame on them for thinking that I was a woman. Justin, you're a woman on Wednesdays and Fridays.
I can't. I'm picturing some weird things right now. But Craig, you also did it on our show too. We interviewed. I forgot her name.
Lauren. Was it Bensinger?
Yeah.
Because I went about the profile picture. So here's this thing. Obviously, it was a picture of her dad. So I'm thinking. So the whole time I'm looking at here, I'm thinking it's Lauren as in like a guy, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, yeah, I'd love to, looking forward to talking with you, sir.
Name, Lauren.
Yeah, so I'm like,
a dude's name.
Yeah, I'm
right?
like, I'm looking forward to talking to you, sir. I'm a girl, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Spit water everywhere.
Failures all across the board.
Lowe's HR department line 1.
Yeah.
What is like something that you do? Because I'll tell you mine. That is like super embarrassing that you've not only done once but like multiple times in public.
Ooh, who wants to start on this one? I got to think about this because I don't even know which one to narrow down on.
Like something that you've been really embarrassed by that you've like, it embarrassed you enough where you're like, I'm never going to do this again. And then the shit happened like repeatedly. And you're like, I can't, I don't know what to say.
It happened in elementary school. It's one of those things when you're taking your snow clothes off and you didn't stop
what
at the
are snow clothes? I live
exactly.
Yeah. So you got the big old snow coat and everything. And as you're doing that, you continue to take layers off without even thinking about it. And it just, so you by the time you're in your underwear and it's like, the people like, you're like, oh, so that's happened twice when I was in school. So I've done that twice. So that's one instance for me.
That's more like I think you wanted to strip for him.
Take
off all your clothes and you're
it wasn't. We're not talking down to nothings here. No. It was just down as the pants are starting to come down. You're like, your mind just suddenly clicks over. Like, what am I doing? And the embarrassment hits in.
I've always wanted to be in my underoos in the snow. Like, how fun would that be? Just running around like in the snow.
It's cold.
That'd be fun.
That'd be fun, right? I've never seen snow, so I don't know what that's like. In my whole life, I've never seen snow.
Have you been out of Florida?
I've lived in other places. In other places, go figure, that were actually cold, but it never snowed while I lived there. So I've seen slush on the ground in Washington, D.C., where like the ice is yellow because dogs pissed on it, but that doesn't count. Like we're talking like fluffy cabin snow from like Denver, fluffy stuff where you can have hot cocoa and have sex by the fire with a bearskin rug. I don't know.
I'm waiting for Justin's comment at some point.
Justin's gonna chime in.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, it's like I tell the guys, they're like, "Oh, I would love to live there." I'm like, "Okay, living there is a whole different story. Visiting, really cool, especially if you going to the ski resorts, doing stuff like that. It's really awesome. Because you got to get that snow's everywhere. You're in the hot tub, like you said. You go back in the room. The fire. Everything's. That's a lot of fun, but when you actually live and have to work in it, it sucks.
I seen a house in Wisconsin on the island the other day. Craig's like, no, it's not a good idea. It had a boat and it was on a private island in Wisconsin. I'm like, that would be the house. Craig was like, no, what if you get snowed in on the lake? I'm like, well,
what if the lake freezes and how do you get food?
I mean, you got to have all that before you go over there. But see, Craig's like, I mean, I'm stocked up on food. We can walk.
If it's all ice, how do you?
Yeah, you're not just firing up the snowmobile and heading down to Safeway.
And what happens to your plumbing if you're on an island in the middle of a lake? Like, can you shit and piss and not have it like backed up and sewage like come up in your house? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud.
That'll happen. Yeah, that'll happen. It's like if pipes freeze and everything. Oh yeah, that can happen.
Sounds really attractive. I mean,
he didn't tell me all that.
Has anyone seen my weed pin?
So my embarrassing story happened while I was on my honeymoon in Italy, and I thought it happened once, and that would be it, but it's happened multiple times now, and that would be setting off emergency exit alarms in public places.
Oh, that's awesome.
We were at this like pit stop in the middle of nowhere in Italy. And it was kind of like what the turnpike is to Florida. It's like they had those little rest areas like every so often. And so we stopped to rest and grab something to eat. And I'm the only one that speaks Italian because I actually lived in Italy like years ago. So literally it said Uscita on the door and I wasn't paying attention and I set the alarm off in the entire building of this rest stop and all the Italians wanted to kill me like mob style. Like they were looking at me like I was the spawn of Satan and I was mortified. I literally ran out. Everyone was, I thought I was going to be stoned. Like it was nuts. And then I've done it several times since then in America in public places. So don't put me around an emergency exit that says, please do not exit, alarm will sound, because I'll probably somehow figure it out.
That's crazy.
Then, yeah, you're supposed to, you're good at impressions.
You should have Janine get, what kind of impressions, Justin?
Yeah, it's like, how many brothers do you have?
I have no siblings.
Ah, see there.
Oh, wow.
No siblings. And my dad raised me. So I was brought up by a single, actually my dad was gay. So I was raised by a gay father, which was really, really awesome. Like I went to my first club with my dad when I was 18. It was a gay club. It was off the chain. Good times.
He introduced you to all the good-looking guys that weren't interested in you.
Totally. And then I got hooked on it because I knew I would never get hit on. I would go to all the gay clubs in Fort Lauderdale and Miami, like growing up in South Florida. I was like, this is great. Until none of them. Are you the one setting the alarms off at the office? Oh my God, Orlando. Okay. So every day this fucking alarm goes off in our office building and we all have to leave. I swear, I don't know if it's me or not. I would think it's not. I don't, but I keep my office so warm that it might overheat and like maybe the sensor for, I don't know.
You live in Florida. You're a Florida girl and you leave this shit in a hot.
I love being warm.
No. Walk outside.
Listen, no. I grew up in a house in Lake Worth, L-Dub. Yay, L-Dub. Okay, Lake Worth is like the hood, but it's totally my home. And I grew up in a house in the 80s that like literally had no AC till the 90s. So it's like a shotgun home, like the old school Lake Worth houses, like no air conditioning. So I got used to being warm. So now when it's like 70, have a sweater on. It's really not good. Not good.
Yes, my son would get along quite well with you. He was wearing a hoodie all the time. I'm like, it's 1,000 degrees outside. He's like, it's just he's completely covered. I'm like, aren't you dying? No. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like,
so where did you guys all grow up?
I grew up in Central Florida.
Okay.
I'm Oregon. I was born and raised Oregon.
That's on my bucket list. I want to go to Oregon so badly. I mean, not Portland anytime soon or next year, but like
Portland's weird.
But anywhere around like the outskirts of insanity, like I totally want to go to.
A really good town for anybody that wants to visit Oregon is go to Bend. Go to Bend, Oregon. It's right in the center of the state. You've got everything there. You've got lakes for water sports. You got rock climbing. You've got, if you go in the wintertime, you have ski resorts. There's two Mount Bachelor and you've got Hoodoo up there, Mount Hood. I mean, you've got everything was kind of within an hour. I mean, there's camping. I mean, hiking. Just if you like to do an outdoor sport, I mean, that is the place for it.
Have you seen the size of my ass? I don't do any sports. The only sport I do comes out of my mouth.
That was Austin. He's like, have you ever thought about doing the Three Beards 5K? I'm like, what? Look at me. What part of this looks like a runner? Do you even see anything that says runner here?
I tried to get him to run the 5K. I'm like, Craig, let's run the 5K. And then I thought about running the Disney race, but he was like, they got sweepers that if you're not going to make the time, they come sweep you. So we're probably all three will be swept because you're not going to finish the race in time. So what
do you mean they sweep you?
They tag you.
So if you're not running fast, you're not going to finish the race on time, you get
pick you up.
You get whiffed away. And I'm like, me and Austin and Craig will be on the little whiffed away cart, like, bye y'all.
That is hilarious that they would do that at Disney World.
Yeah, because they have a set, like some of the marathons, they go through the parks, and so they have the park's going to open, so they have a set time, and so once you get into that time, you can't make it anymore because they're not going to let you run through the park. You're not going to be like pushing some family from Santa Monica, California out of the way because you're trying to get, as you're jogging through. So they just come by with their cart and they're like, they're going to tap you, Janine, come on, hop in the cart, and they take you off and give you your participation medal and, send you on your way.
I'm be like, hey, you at Disney with your lesbian dog, get the fuck out. This is a children environment. Okay.
But you see that, like in the wintertime, you could ski. Wintertime in Florida, you can do everything because it's not snowing here.
Everything. I told Craig, I said, hey Craig, I'm gonna go snowboarding in some shorts. He's like, no, bad idea. Oregon and go snowboard in some shorts.
No.
You knew it, Tough Mudder, favorite stuff.
Yeah, everybody's watched too many movies when they see the lady out there in a bikini out in the snow, like, oh, this is, the guy in his...
That was on Howard Stern. Remember that scene in Howard Stern in New York City?
Yeah, what she was doing, that whole, like, it's so cold. Yeah, that's pretty much what you do when you step out of the car in your snow gear. You're like, ooh, god damn, it's cold. And then, you're just hoping for a bluebird day where the sun's out, so where it warms it
Did
up.
you say a blue ball day?
Bluebird. You will get, you might get those if you don't wear enough clothes and you're going like Chris is in shorts. They might turn blue.
I figured in the snow would turn some color. I mean, gangrene. I don't know.
Little frostbite down there. Little frostbite on the tenders.
I don't know anything about the winter. I know nothing about being in a cold climate, and I know nothing.
But since Craig has been in Florida, I don't think he's ever been to Miami. I've been trying to drag him down there for a fight. We got to get him down there. It's a whole different breed down there. Also to be willing to go. Craig is like, I don't really want to.
The farthest I've been south was Fort Myers. I haven't even seen.
Fort Myers is on the other side. I mean,
I'm a fucking fishing fanatic. I haven't been to Key West. I've been here my entire life. Yeah, it's stupid.
Wow.
It's horrible.
The Keys, you know what? The Keys are really cool, but I got to say, I've been there a few times during the pandemic, and now's not really I don't know if they have Uber now, but I got to say, I went there for a bachelorette party a couple of years ago with 15 girls, and there was no Uber. And so if you wanted to go somewhere, I was the designated driver for 15 people.
That sucks.
Yeah, but it's not easy to get around if you're sober. Or no, if you're drunk. If you're not drunk.
I was going to say, what she's not telling us is she was a designated driver on one of those pedal buses.
Yeah, you gotta be coherent in the Keys if you're going to.
Yeah, I was a designated driver on one of those pedal buses.
I always thought those guys on the bikes with the lights were really sexy. Their legs were all muscular, and they're like, "Hey, want to ride?" And then you pay them, and I would just flirt a little bit.
Oh my God, no!
I don't know.
As you roll out the red carpet, that's the plan. Is to get down to Miami. I mean, but for me, they always refer to me. I'm the older of the one. They refer to me as the dad. I'm I'm going to be the one to go to Key West. I'm not looking at the clubs and stuff. I'm the Ernest Hemingway Museum. I want to go see the six-toed cats. You've
got to go to the Hemingway house. Mm-hmm. You have to. You have to. It is the coolest experience. I mean, it smells like cat piss. I'm not going to lie. It's well worth it.
It's overrun with six-toed cats. I mean, what are we talking? I mean, it's Crazy Cat Lady for Hemingway.
Yes, I actually had a Hemingway cat. Growing up here, it was the best cat I ever. It's a really cool experience to do that. And all the different bars on Doral Street are super cool. But there's a lot of history, a lot of key lime pie, and a lot of sex and drugs in Key West.
Yeah, we went for a cruise, and that was one of our ports of call, and I absolutely loved it. So I look forward to actually going down, driving through there, and actually seeing all the keys as you're getting into. So we'll get down there. I mean, I look forward to just the silliest things. I mean, I want to go down there and just see the iguanas just roaming free in the fields.
No, you ain't got to go. You ain't got to go to Key West to see the iguanas.
No, I was saying in Miami. Just go down there. That's what I said. I'm going to be all
out of trees when it gets cold.
I'm going to be all excited about
my house. In fact, I almost took a picture. I almost posted it. I was sitting. I live in an apartment complex, and I was sitting by the pool for an hour over the weekend before it poured down rain. And there's literally 4 species of lizards that live in my backyard. There's the Jesus lizard, the one that runs, that's scary as hell. It runs on its back feet and rocks on water. That's why they call it the Jesus lizard. So that runs around the pool. Then you've got the iguanas, the big green, orange looking iguanas. Then you've got the regular curly-tailed Florida lizards. And then you've got the Cuban anole lizards, which are up and down the palm tree. So there's 4 different breeds of lizards. I feel like I'm living in fucking Jurassic Park here. This is outrageous. Oh, and now there's alligators in the pond behind my house. So I am living in I don't even know what to tell you. And I live in a gated community. It's not like I live in the hood, but I feel like I live in
the lizard hood.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. No,
well, you said there's no way that you're fitting all 3 of us in your house at one time. You said you're 700 square feet.
It's pushing 800 square feet with my balcony.
We'll take turns, one at a time.
Yeah, we're kind of big, so.
Well, my couch, I have this sectional that takes up my entire living room, which can fit 8 people very uncomfortably. So you're more than welcome to go over.
Or very comfortably.
Hi, Debbie. What Debbie say?
She said, I want to go October 1st just to figure out if it's my, just figure it out. It's her third year, walking. So yeah, she's doing amazing, for what she went through.
Yeah, totally.
But
so great.
From just the chance, how we met, her, how we ended up meeting Justin, through Martin Brown, just these, Jeremy Davis. I mean, we met these guys, and I said, for me, it's really good friends, really, interesting conversations. And Debbie, talk about an amazing person. Immediately she went out of her way to help us. Like people that she knew, just giving us, it's like, here, talk to this person. I'll reach out to them. She took on these 3 beard guys that didn't know what they were doing and was helping us with guests, right away.
I love her. She's the best. She really is. She's been on my show a couple of times. Like she's called in, and I love Debbie. I'm supposed to have lunch with her sometime, but our schedules are crazy. We were just trying to figure that out.
I think Chris has got like a pay meter on his internet where he forgets to put the money in and it just shuts off randomly, like a dryer at a laundromat. Just he's going.
Timestamp. Every week it cuts
Did you say
off.
tramp stamp?
No.
Yes.
Oh, because I have a few of those too.
Every week. Every week we're in a show and it cuts me off about that time. It just throws me out. I'm like, fuck, I'm just talking and it just.
No, like I said, I think it's like a laundromat. I think he just forgot to put the quarters in and it just shut off and he just disappears.
So you guys are you're all over. You're in Central Florida, Craig?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All of us are.
Mm-hmm.
All of you are in Central Florida. So one of my best friends I go to a Coe all the time because my godson lives up there. You live by a Coe?
Yeah, you got to hit us up. We can have a drink.
Totally. Yep. We literally, I probably go up there like 3 or 4 times a year because my godson lives there. Like, I love going up there. It's great.
You drive right past where I live because we're in that new area, Horizon West, which is a new Independence Parkway right off 429.
No, not really. She's coming from down south, so she's on the
turnpike. So if you turnpike, either
turnpike, and then I go to the 429?
429 to the
49, and then I get off of Plant Street or something.
Yeah. So she drives by my house.
That's so cool.
Yeah, So we're all just kind of right around Winter Garden area. So
I love that area. It's great. I was thinking about moving up there several times. She's been trying to get me to move up there. It's a different world. Central Florida is totally different breed of people than South Florida, 100%.
It is. I never knew you was Italian. So you're blended with the Cubans. So people probably think you're Cuban all the time. Are you Cuban?
Really?
No, I'm just asking. People
never actually. I've never gotten. I just get a lot of like white girl Caucasian a lot. Like very white, like vanilla, and like until they talk to me. What is that? I want this silk.
Silk the Shocker No Limit Soldier album cover as a tramp stamp.
I have 2 tramp stamps.
I think he just wants to show his butt for that long while they're taking that long to do that picture.
Well, I read the first half. I'm like, is that an adult toy? Silk the Shocker. No injustice. I don't know.
But I'm not gonna lie. I came back home after.
That is hilarious.
The first time I talked to you, I came back home. I says, "Hey, Craig, I thought I was gonna get hit upside the head with some camera equipment." So I had to look at your husband and say, "Hey, do you mind?" She's like, "Hey, just take my number." And I'm like, "Okay, the producer's back here behind my head. Hey, sir, do you mind?" All due respect, because he's like, "Yeah, great, thank you."
He's used to it. I ask for fighters' numbers, and they're half naked and sweaty. I'm like, "Hey, baby, can I get your number? You want an interview later?" And he's so used to it. Like it's fine. It's
Chris.
No disrespect. No.
Nah, that's all good. So when is your actual show dropping? Your new show that you're endeavoring, or can you talk about that? That's we've been on
January 2nd, 2022. It'll be on Fox Business on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. That is the slotted date. Don't feel bad for him. He has my wife. Oh Lord, Justin. So Justin and I, just so you all know, we went to middle school and high school together. We've been friends for like 26 years.
That's awesome.
Like, no joke.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Justin's a really cool guy. Every time I come to Miami, I have to drive back home that Sunday. We end up sitting on the patio upstairs at the Biscayne Bay for about 3-4 hours. I think that might have been another event, but Justin had me on the patio for like 4 hours just shooting it after the fight, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm ready to go. I gotta go to sleep.
He's the best. We've been friends a really long time. We've known each other since we were, pimply faced and going through puberty. Like, we've known each other a long time.
Well,
Matt tuned in.
Yep.
What's up, Matt?
Yep. And yep. 3beardspodcast.com. You can go to the merch that links us to Redbubble, their thing. No, it's somebody asked there too. It's like, if you had a superpower, what would it be?
Farting on command.
Yes.
God, that's awesome.
That's
like Howard Stern, fart man. Behold.
Like, it's totally underrated how fun it is. Like, it just makes people laugh. Like, why not do it? If it makes you laugh, like, why not do it? Right?
No, a crazy story. Nobody doesn't know about this. I'm sure if the fighter's watching, I farted in the cage right before they started fighting, and everybody's in the cage is like shit. That's an embarrassing moment. Everybody's in the cage. The ref's like.
That's amazing. What a great story.
It is.
Justin, what do you and Justin do on the patio? Late night after the fight?
Just talk shit. It was multiple of us. It wasn't just me and Justin. Come on now. We was out there just talking.
That's so funny. Normally, it's not the gay thing, but brothers, too effing funny. I'm surrounded by, like, LGBTQ community. I love it. It's great. My dog, my dad,
Justin.
Hey.
These two were a little boring. They didn't really come up with a story. I'll give you another one because it's kind of like what you did. I was young. We were on a field trip, and it's the same thing. I saw the emergency phone, and me and a friend thought it would be awesome to play with the emergency phone. So we kept picking it up, and then when somebody hang up. We thought it was funny. So we're on this church field trip, and here comes the fire department and everybody rolling in the emergency services because they think somebody's having an actual emergency. So we get back the next day, and I've got the largest Oregon State Trooper I've ever seen in my life. I still remember him. He comes walking in. It's like, you boys like to play with the emergency phone? No, sir.
He should have said I was on the show. Phone a friend. I thought it was
phone a friend.
Phone a friend.
Yeah, that is so funny.
Yeah, so I feel for it. When you have something that's an emergency, and suddenly everybody's just looking at you like you're. Yeah, so
they're like, you idiot! Why would you do you did it and I really didn't do. I would never do that intentionally. I would never. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no.
That's me. I've done plenty.
Arts. But I also, on that same trip in Italy on my honeymoon, which is probably another reason I'm divorced. Hold on. So the statue of David, like Michelangelo's David, is in Florence, Italy. And that's where I lived when I lived in Italy years ago. So it's at the Accademia Museum, and without a reservation, you have to wait like 3 or 4 hours to get in. So we're waiting and we're in line, and I wasn't feeling well, so I kept walking at a line, and all of a sudden we get to like the front door. Like, literally, there's a group of Asian tourists, like, with their backpacks and their cameras, right? Like, they just got off the boat from China. They're in front of me to like go see this monumental statue. And I didn't want to get out of line. And all of a sudden I went like this, and I had projectile vomit all over them, like all over them. And they didn't get out of line because they had stood in the line for 4 fucking hours. So meanwhile, I am drenched from head to toe in vomit. And it was just, I have a way of embarrassing myself. Janine once farted at a school field trip at a chemistry lab. Oh my God, you're such a dick, Justin. Oh my God. Yeah, but no, I love embarrassing moments. I just start to laugh. You got to laugh at yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, who else? If you can't laugh at yourself, then you got problems.
Yeah, I know. You get some stories. It's like I've got, you get some of those. I mean, I'm still waiting for the bottom two squares here to come up with something, but they're not there.
You know, I'm a nut all the time. I can't think of just one
I'm a walking
instance.
Yeah.
Well,
No, that's just this has definitely lived up to that. Everything I was hoping it would be. Yeah, it's this is no. I'm really excited for you for this opportunity that you got coming up in January. This is
Thanks. It's cool.
As long as you can stay away from the emergency door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no more emergency. What was really cool was that the last time I talked to Dr. Drew was on a Zoom call last week, and it was about like 8 of us on the call, and we're all like, everyone is like very like prim and proper, and I'm like sitting in my desk, and the blinds are closed at work, and I'm sitting there, and I'm very professional. And Dr. Drew didn't have his camera on. And it was a Zoom call, and we're like, okay, like maybe he's like in the middle of something like important, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm driving. I'll pull over to a safe spot and then I'll put the camera on. So I actually took a picture of it. Orlando, if you're still watching, sorry. He pulled over and he put his camera on, and he was like in his gym clothes, like just chilling in his car on the side of the road. Like, here's Dr. Drew on a Zoom call. And I'm like, I love this dude. Like, he's so real, right? He's not like in a suit. He's just like chilling in his gym clothes. Looked like he had just like, played some racquetball and was sitting on the side of the road. It was kind of cool.
Wait, for how many years was he with Adam Carolla? I mean, so I said it's like he's gonna
long time.
Yeah,
long time.
So you know that he definitely, is not, uptight and everything, especially for them to get along as long as they did, as the show. So
he's a very interesting person to talk to, and he knows a little bit about everything. And it's just really great to work with him. He's made some really good shows. In fact, when he did Celebrity Rehab with Dennis Rodman, I keep meaning to tell him that I had a verbal altercation with Dennis Rodman back in 2009, right after they filmed Celebrity Apprentice. I ran into him, and it was not good. And I'm like 5'2", and I got in his face, and it was not a great experience. But I meant to keep telling. I mean, you need to like tell him about that. But
it would almost be awesome to see if he remembers it.
So we know you didn't get the autograph then.
No, but hopefully I'll meet him in person soon. Hopefully, if all goes well, I'll fly out to LA because he's in LA, and hopefully we'll be able to correspond that way as things progress. But it's a lot of work doing it's a lot of work. I mean, I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my life to try to make this the best show out there. And the first episode has some really cool people on it. So and I can't say who they are yet, but some celebrities that everyone knows that are going to tell their story. And it's really, really cool. I will definitely promote that when it comes out.
I don't think you have a problem with that. Like Craig said, we're very excited for you because you're just a natural, funny person. You have the vibe, even in the fight world. So I'm thinking you're going to do really great.
Thanks. Dr. Drew probably had some great Gary Busey. I'm sure, right? I'm sure.
I think anybody involved during Gary Busey has got some great stories.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, he's really well respected in the medical community, and he just wants to tell unique stories and kind of push the envelope to science-based evidential things that he wants on the show, things that are not BS, things that are real conversations. And I think that's why I respect him so much, because I'm the same way. So it's cool.
Well, hey, as I said, to look to the clock, man, it's just that hour flew.
It did, right?
Yeah.
That's what's fun when you have podcast hosts talking to each other, because you could talk for like 4 hours and you're like, damn, I can't believe it's taken that long.
I know. I had a lot of, and this is, asking for a friend, will there be a casting couch opportunity?
Is it for you or your wife?
Yeah. Which one? Austin starting shit. Man.
It's getting a little. I have this light, like the light that I use at the Titan fights. It's like super like bright. Do you guys use lighting?
Mm-hmm.
So this is like I should have used my ring light. Hi, Debbie. You're so cute.
I'm going to make everybody a little, dizzy here with it, but I use LED lights.
Oh, I love those. I have a set. I have
they're
those.
like I said. Everybody can see behind the scenes. They can see my nerd collection of Star Wars memorabilia.
That is amazing. Like, how long have you been collecting that? That is really
for quite
amazing.
a while. I mean, you can see like up there. There's the actual figures that are in the packaging still.
Isn't that like the 40-year-old virgin?
Kind of.
What you do
kind of, yeah. Yeah.
Well, but
and it will be like that, especially if somebody goes to rip one open. No, just like start freaking out. Yeah,
don't take it out of the box, but it's super. It's worth a lot.
It loses its value as soon as you. It's like, yeah, that's me.
But
it's
seriously,
so true.
But seriously, next time you're in Ocoee, make sure you give us a DM and let us know so we can, maybe go have a beer. Cricket can.
I would love that. Like, I don't know when the next time I'm going up there is, but I love going up there. The weather's great. It's awesome. Like, yeah, we should definitely go for a beer, go for a nice brewski.
Yeah. Let us know the next time you're up in there. We can go to Crooked Can. We can meet there at Crooked Can, Winter Garden, and have a beer.
Well, there's a good brewery in Ocoee too. I think it's called Toll Road. That's good.
Yeah, but that's we don't.
Is that the one in Winter Garden, like downtown Winter Garden? Don't they have a brewery?
Yeah, Crooked Can.
Cricket Can. Yeah.
Well, listen, Austin. We don't support that out town brewery. We support the hometown Crooked Can.
I'm not from Winter Garden.
And just like that, all of a sudden we're getting ready to lose Austin. He's getting ready to fall off the screen. What happened? We were breaking up.
That's awesome. I am digging all your skulls, by the way. Like, I feel right at home. Like, I just, feel right at home with my Dazzler.
I've always been a huge fan of skulls, and so that's just always been my thing. It's just
they're really interesting, right?
Yeah,
really interesting.
Yeah, they're all different. I mean, once I have the money, I'm going to actually get some, the actual crystal carved skulls.
I love that.
Yeah,
we had an episode. We had an episode with the skulls. Go watch it. It was a pretty good episode.
Oh, nice.
The crystal skulls.
The guy, Shapiro, Joshua Shapiro. Yeah, he has one. It was quite the show. I mean, he actually, like I said, it's one of those, you must watch to experience the whole show.
Oh, I'm totally intrigued.
But yeah, no, we definitely, I'd like to have you back on, especially to, get you see how the show is going for you and stuff too. I mean, I hope you were wondering, what you were going to face when you came on the show with us. So hopefully it lived up to everything you expected more. So
I hope I lived up to what you expected. Oh, yeah. I'm a little nuts, but I think that's the fun of it, right?
Yes, exactly. That's
amazing.
That's the thing. And everybody in the comments, that's been watching has really been enjoying, the show. And I mean, we appreciate everybody watching.
Have me on anytime. I will. Okay. I'm totally down to like cross promote podcasters. You know what? When you're in this world and you're trying to, it's not easy. And I think one of the biggest things people don't realize about podcasting is this shit is not easy. And everyone and their mother is like, I want a podcast. I want a podcast. And I've had so many guests on my shows over the last 2 years that are like, all of a sudden they'll be like, I've got a podcast. And I'm like, I wish you the best of luck. If you like, I just wish people would ask other podcasters like their advice and like how, like, it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? Like, bravo to us for actually like going through all of it. It takes work. It takes dedication. It takes time and money and energy to make it look proper. And it's not easy. It's so anything I can do to support other podcasters is.
Yeah, we just like real quick because we had Christopher Jordan on. And he was saying the same thing, and it really is true. Most shows seem to make it somewhere in that first 15 to 20 episode range, and then people realize this isn't just something like I sit down and everything flows. You realize there's a lot of work involved behind this. You can't just sit down. I mean, these shows are fun. I mean, I love it where we can just sit back and just BS. But when you actually have a show, I mean, like I said, I've shown people. I mean, from our last show that we had at 7:00. Here's my notes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So this is the type of stuff so each show. So you're doing this to prepare for each show, and it's just, and a lot of people are like, oh, you make it look. I'm like, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Not easy in any way. I mean, and to have anybody like yourself that's got the success that you're doing, that's hats off to you, because you have busted your ass and you have done what you needed to do to work. And I congratulate you. You've done an amazing job on your show.
Thanks.
And yeah.
You guys as well. Oh my God. Like, you guys are doing amazing. I need to like take some tips from you as far as your production goes, because it looks amazing. You guys are like, I use, what do I use? Restream. And this is StreamYard, but a lot of people like StreamYard better than Restream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We used to use Be Live, and what we did is we switched this to StreamYard just because it was so much easier. The features were so much better, because we could, like I mean, the thing that I really like, I'm not Restream. I think they might have it, but I'm going to show real quick on the screen. Like I said, we didn't really talk about yet, and I apologize for that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's my website. It needs work.
But there's the thing is, so with this one, we were able to show stuff in real time. We could show videos. We could show images.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we really liked, that we could we could do some do those things, and this enabled that, and it's pretty much you're right. Prep sucks. It really. Oh God, it's just. I mean, you don't understand. It's there, but there is such an amazing thing in Janine. I'm sure you know this too. There is such an amazing feeling when you've got your prep done. It's so much easier to have that conversation, because you're not sitting here doing the clicking through websites, going out, trying to flip through stuff, trying to find that next thing. You kind of have a general idea where you're going.
And it's the preparation, especially like I've been really nervous. Some people I've had on, I've been really nervous. I'm like, why am I nervous to have this person on? Maybe I don't want to look like an idiot asking them questions. Like, I don't want to look like I don't. Yep. And there have been times where that just happens. Maybe I'm starstruck by some people that I have on, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to mess this up, but then I'm going to mess it up because I'm going to be so nervous. I don't know. I think it happens to everybody, I guess.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've fanboyed out a couple times. It's
fun.
Yeah, Colt Brennan. Had Alexander, Green. Both former University of Hawaii players. And so I'm
That's
like, oh my God, I watch these guys on the TV, and I'm like, so you're over here, just doing, trying all you can, you just, not to just do the whole like, oh my God, type thing, in your head, but it's fun. And you give us such a nice compliment by saying you want us to give you tips. I really do.
Yeah, I need some production tips for sure. I'm gonna like pick your brain when we get like another day. But like just message anytime. I'm like I said, if I can help, more than happy to. But I'm glad you think this my side of the train wreck, is worth emulating. You guys are doing great, and I don't know if you ever pre-record. Like, I'm always live. I never pre-record anything. I don't even know how to edit. Like, a lot of podcasts that I've been on, it's a production and like the whole editing thing, but I don't even know how to edit. I've done it live from the beginning, I guess, because it's easier that way. I don't know. But
yeah, what you see is what you get, bloopers and all. We ain't got time to edit nothing.
And I think, in a way, I mean, I think that you could find a little bit more faster success, like for people downloads and stuff, if you had like an edited down thing here. But just for me, this is the type of show where it's a little more interesting to listen to. And so that's for me, that's where it's like the conversation that we had was everything that I hoped it would be. And like I said, and more. And like I said, and it was just, the interaction was fun. And like I said, I definitely look forward to the next one. So.
Yay, me too. And I would have you guys on my show, and that would be so funny because I'd ask each of you questions, and I'd have to systematically go in a circle and ask you guys questions. That would be fun.
We just have to get the bottom two to actually have an answer.
I'll do it.
I'll do it.
You got to give us some prep.
So fun.
Whenever you're ready, you got to give us some prep time, though. We'll be happy.
I know. I gave you 2 answers just off like that. And we got these two guys.
Look at him. That's awesome. That's awesome.
When we can get him out of Central Florida, come to Miami, then he can talk to me because I've been to Miami. I don't know, Biscayne Bay. I love the Biscayne Bay. That's
it's beautiful. Yeah, where they do the Intercontinental at the Intercontinental. That area is really pretty.
I've been out of the state of Florida.
So have I. Talked to Austin.
What's her face? My Facebook, Skulls and Stilettos. Yep. But if you can go to Janine LaRusso Stella, that's my actual, my regular, personal Facebook page that I post everything. And then Skulls and Stilettos on YouTube, or on YouTube and on Instagram. Still the same. Skulls and spelled out.
Yeah. So. Yeah, we'll initiate on the balcony as advice. Yeah, I've heard about your balcony.
I've heard your initiations, Justin.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go.
Is it all that silk thing you were talking about before?
Yeah, I've just heard don't take a black light.
Happens in Miami, stays in Miami.
So on that note, Janine, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you guys so much for having me. We have to do this again soon. I will request, and I will figure out when a good time. What is today? Wednesday? Wednesdays are usually good for me. I don't know if you guys film at the same time every week.
Yep, always on a Wednesday. So we can find another Wednesday. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
So that sounds good. So we'll have a great night. Tell the current and ex, thanks for sharing time with us. I'm sure
totally
you're in a small room, so he can hear me. So it's like, hey, thank you. Yeah,
he's watching in the back, he's all set up and doing all the MacGyver stuff back there. He laughs and
waiting for us to say something wrong so he can finish looking up our background so he knows where to find us. No, we don't look up any backgrounds in this household. We're not saints, so I don't look up anyone's. We're good.
One quick question. Do you go live on your Facebook page? One of the guests is
asking. Do. Okay. I do. So when I go live on Restream, it goes to Janine LaRusso Stella, and then it goes to my YouTube page. What did Justin say? Did he say something crazy?
He says, I'm the leader of the sex cult.
I'm not going to Miami anymore.
Yeah. Give me more and more incentive not to go on the balcony. Jeez.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. All right, everybody.
So sticky.
I know. It's like, why doesn't the door open?
So funny. Farting on command is the best superpower you could ever have.
Balcony bark. That's a porno waiting to happen. Right here.
If you eat a lot of beans before your podcast live, you will be able to fart on demand.
Oh my
and don't
God.
take no bean.
Guaranteed that is a porn video somewhere.
Fart on demand.
Balcony backyard boy.
Does Justin do private events?
Justin does do private events.
He does.
I'm not going to go there.
Everything awesome. To do with privates as well. I'm
not going to say it.
Oh, my God. We better stop or this is going to keep going. All right. Well, Janine, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. This was super fun. I don't want to get off. Super fun.
I know. We'll do it. Definitely do it again. So, everybody, thank you for watching. So, all right. Well, Janine, thank you so much. Go, everybody, check her out on Facebook. Watch, subscribe on YouTube. I said, and while you're there, if you subscribe to us too, we'll take the subscribers too.
That's right. I'm going to subscribe right now.
Yes. So, all right, well, Janine, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Have a fabulous evening.
Yeah, you too. All right, everybody. This episode was brought to you by Nanny Cakes. Go to Nanny Cakes 407 on Facebook or give her a phone call at 407-923-2898. Mention Three Beards Podcast, and you're going to save 15% on your cake order, which is fantastic, especially, wedding cakes, divorce cakes, whatever cake you want to buy, just get, Yeah, just get a cake. If you just get one that's shaped like a skull and with stilettos, like you said, that's
Ooh,
yeah.
a skull cake.
She
That
can do
sounds amazing.
So Nanny Cakes 407 on Facebook. Give her a phone call and
Ooh,
just mention us.
awesome.
Yeah, and then that gives you when you're up here in Ocoee, then you can easily pick it up that way.
That sounds awesome.
So, and like I said, Austin will hand deliver it to you.
I have to go to the land to pick. Where's she at?
Hey, sorry, the deal's been made. It's already happened. It's working. We've sealed the deal. Delivery's already been set up. All right, everybody, redbubble.com/Three Beards Podcast is our thing. Or you can go to threebeardspodcast.com to the merch store, and that'll link you directly there too. Social media, like, subscribe, donate your firstborn, whatever it takes, get us up there on the numbers where we broadcast every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Maybe for the last time after Justin's changed our rating. So you download the Zeno Radio app. Look Patriot Radio. So for this uncensored chat with Janine. So this is we go to JJ Beard Co. Tell them thank you so much for being willing to rebroadcast us. Everybody, want to thank you for watching. Been an awesome show. Just like I said, Janine, can't thank you enough. Good luck with your endeavor with Dr. Drew in January. We will be in touch.
Love you guys. I'll be in Ocoee, and you never know. Like we'll literally go to Winter Garden, and we will close the place down because they'll kick us out because we'll be laughing so hard, and there's going to be beer all over.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, just let us know. Like I said, we'll all meet up there and we'll have a beer.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's great. So everybody, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great evening. Good night.